Welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for watching. Again, I really appreciate all the support and all the views I'm getting. You guys are amazing. So I have to say, I want to touch base on something I talked about that I just kind of skimmed over in my last video. I really want to talk about Kaylee, my wife, not working anymore, right? So I talk about in 2020, she stopped working because of COVID and was getting COVID pay and everything. One thing I didn't really talk about though was the fact that once she stopped working, and she was able to go back to work after everything was kind of settled a little bit, work wasn't the same. A lot of people at the place that she worked were quitting. She worked at an eye doctor, and the boss just didn't seem like he was really doing much in the way of COVID, and he was really old school kind of guy. So he just did everything old school. So he had paperwork instead of doing emails, and I mean it was crazy. So she was complaining to me about how the job kind of sucked, and I get it, and everyone was quitting, so it was just a bunch of stuff going to be left on her. So I told her, I said, just quit then. And she's like, well, I want to. And I'm like, no, I mean just quit. Like, we don't just quit. If it's bothering you that much, just quit. So we had two pit bull mastiff mixes. They were brothers. We had them since they were like a year old, pretty much. My parents ended up with one. I kind of took them over, and she ended up buying one of the brothers. So throughout our relationship, when we were dating, we had these two 130-pound mastiff pit bull mixes. So they were pretty much our kids, right? So they were about 7 years old around the time in 2020. So I also told her too, if you stay home, you could be home with the dogs. We don't have to worry about if they're not being let out and, this and that. So kind of worked out for her to not work, just the same way as like people who have kids, one parent stays home because you don't want to have daycare, whatever. So kind of worked out that we just said, you know what, just don't go to work, and we'll figure it out. If you need to go back to work, we can figure that out. But in the meantime, just chill out, just enjoy life. You know what I mean? That's the whole point we're shooting for, is for us to both be retired. And I figured if we start this now and just make you stay at home and be with the dogs, and if we can make that work, then let's do it, because why not enjoy your life, and then now we're 50% there, I just have to retire myself now, right? So that was something that we had talked about, and it ended up being what we did, because I will say she hasn't worked a normal W-2 job since. She helps me with the photo booth, but I mean, other than that, we'll get to what she does more a little later, but she hasn't worked a formal job since. So she stays at home and she's able to enjoy life, and that's what I wanted, So that's the other thing too, to wrap it up and go back to the tax situation on that. So it ended up working out too that in 2020 I quit my job and I pulled out my 401k money, and she had stopped working as well. So because I made less money and she stopped making income, I was able to pretty much just drown out that money that I took out from my 401k. So after paying the taxes and the penalty and everything, I actually ended up making less money than I've ever made on paper. So I ended up getting money back that year. So that's one of the first years I've ever got money back. I always broke even for the most part, and that year I got $5,000 back. So just by reducing my income, I was able to make it work for me, basically, and work out better for me. So we did that the first year, and I was like, well, if it works out that we're in a better tax bracket this way and we can keep more of our own money and live the same way, then why would you go to work? It just didn't make any sense to me. Taxably, it didn't make any sense. So her not working, having no income, and just my income with a higher standard deduction even, just worked out in our favor, right? So doing that, if I didn't read up on my taxes and stuff, I would have never even considered it, because it wouldn't make any sense. Well, if I make less money, I make less money, right? I mean, not really. If you really think about how you make money and how you're taxed and how it all works. And there's a lot of stuff involved in it. I mean, even to me, I don't know everything at this point. I'm not a tax advisor by any means. I mean, I'm still ignorant to a ton of it, but at least I understood that much, and I knew that we could make this work with her not working. So that was just another great decision, because ever since, it's just life has been better. So even though we made less income, we've been able to grow, and that's something that is very confusing for people nowadays too, because everything now is about how everything's so expensive, how people can't even afford to live, and how can I grow if I can't afford to live? You know, I can't even save $1. But it's more, to me and to my wife, it's more of a mindset thing, right? So it's more of a can I, or are you saying can I, or how can I, or are you saying I can't? I mean, it really is the stuff that you say and everything that makes your world what it is, you know? So if you believe that you can't have it, then you can't. You're right. You can't have it. But if you think that you can, you can. I mean, this has been told by tons of people, and, you know, you read a book basically, and anything that's of worthwhile read, I should say, will have some type of knowledge in there that will, you know, pertain to the whole thing about your mind and how your mind is powerful and it works for you if you know how to control it, right? So, enough about the taxes for a minute here, and I'll jump back to the photo booth, right? So I told you at the end of 2020, I bought the photo booth, and I was just getting everything ready, just rebranding, trying to figure out how to run a business in general. I have no background in business. I don't have any real entrepreneurial spirit from the get, you know, right? So this was all new to me. And in 2021, we officially started booking, right? We booked by doing a wedding banquet thing at Mohegan Sun. So that was kind of like our first way. We actually paid to get into that, right? And people booked because of it. I think we had 3 or 4 bookings, so it paid for itself right away. So that was amazing. So now, when we're doing the photo booth, we charge $250 an hour. So we generally do a 2-hour minimum. So it would be $500 for the 2 hours is basically our baseline minimum, aside from some, you know, deals or discounts we give to some Special Olympics and other things that we do business with. But other than that, it's generally at least $500. We usually do 2 to 4 hours, so anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for the event. So anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, right? So now, once I started doing the photo booth in 2021, again, I started to question what I was doing in the first place, right? So if I was to work 4 hours at one event, I would make roughly, let's say, the same amount of money as if I worked 40 hours in my construction job, right? My blue collar job that I had to go to school for and get a license, you know, that took me 4 years to get. So again, I'm kind of getting mind blown sitting here at these events, hanging out at a wedding, let's say, hanging out with people that are having a good time, enjoying themselves. There's food, I'm getting things to eat, you know, and basically I'm at a celebration, right? And I'm getting paid $250 an hour to be at that celebration, right? To essentially be celebrating with these people. So I'm like, man, go to work and do manual labor for pennies, or do this for $250 an hour, right? So I was kind of starting to realize, like, this is that time multiplier. Like, I could work 4 hours and I could basically work 4 hours for the week, and that's it. I could be done, right? So now I'm like, okay, all right, this is cool. Like, I'm really liking this. So the first year, I ended up making a little bit more than my money back. So I think the first year of getting everything going, I made $8,700. And if you remember, I said I paid $7,000 for the photo booth. So great. Now I made the money back plus a couple dollars in my pocket, and now I'm pumped. Now I'm excited. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I think the photo booth could be part of my retirement. You know, this could be my capital builder to buy real estate, to, you know, get my cash flow going so I could leave my job, right? So now I'm like, all right, this is cool. So let's get 2022 going, right? So I'm going to leave it there. 2021 was a great year. I got my photo booth money back. Everything. My wife wasn't working. It was like her first full year not working. So she was able to stay home, take care of the dogs, and enjoy life while I was at work, and I wasn't worried about the house or the dogs or anything because my wife is home. So she's able to take care of stuff. If something was getting delivered, she was there, whatever. I mean, it's old school, and I'm for it. I'm all for it. If you're able to do it, and I personally believe if you're married to somebody and you truly love them, then you would want them to be enjoying themselves. It's different. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, my wife's got to work because we both got to make money and this and that." And I understand that concept, but that's just not me. I'm like, if you can stay home and be happy and enjoy your life more, then let's do it. And it's been almost 5 years, so blessed. I can't even begin to describe it. Sometimes I can't come up with words to describe my gratitude towards some of this stuff. So that's why, again, it's different for me to just sit here and spill my heart out to everybody. But here I am. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to get really deeper into this YouTube thing. So if you guys want to subscribe, do everything that you can, comment on my channel too. If you guys have any questions about anything that I had talked about, I'm more than happy to answer some questions if you guys want to just jot down comments down below and stuff. And I'll definitely get to them because I comment back on each and every one. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it, and have a good night, everybody.